Did you see? I know that like people feel a certain way about Trevor Bauer, but I watched his vlog, and this dude is in Dick's Sporting Goods buying a glove because in Japan there are so many rules about what your glove can look like and how big it can be, and like you're only allowed to you can't have, I think it's like you can't have more than one logo on it. So if there's a logo on the web and on the wrist, it's a no-go. You can only have one. And then I think it all has to be the same color. So if your glove is black, but your laces are red, you can't use it. And it can only be a certain amount of inches. That they're very particular. But I don't know if that's for all players or for pitchers in particular. But they have like a very, and I think with cleats, you're not allowed to have any logos on the heel, which I've never heard that. But
so he's doing well over there. He's doing well.
I mean, he was literally in a Dick's Sporting Goods buying a glove to go play baseball in Japan.
So then I wonder if we're going to see the same energy over there that we saw over here when he was faced with shit that he didn't like and shit that he didn't agree with, like the inability to wear logos where he saw fit or where he wanted to, or like if he runs into that stuff, I wonder if it's going to be just he's going to acquiesce, or is he going
he's
to
going to play the
back?
role. I think he's going to play the role. Like you can tell. So like he cut his hair. Like he had fucking because I think he regrets. I think he regrets how he acted even before all like the court case stuff, like, going after Rob Manfred and pissing off players around the league. I think he kind of took a look around and was like, I was being a troll to kind of entertain myself, but holy shit, no one fucks with me. And I don't like that. Like, especially when you need people in your corner. Like, I think he kind of took a look around and was like, I don't really like this situation. I think he's trying to start over and not be as combative with authority in the league and stuff. I think that's what he's trying to do. But it is interesting because I did see a clip from there. I think it was I can't remember the name of the team, but it was in Japan. It was the closer's entrance. And Joey made the video about like the lights at Fenway, and fans are complaining about, oh, they got the LED lights. And when guys hit home runs, like Dan Shaughnessy wrote a column about have celebrations gone too far. And then like we look at baseball in Japan and how much they respect baseball culture and this and that. They had a motherfucking closer. They shut the lights in the stadium, and it looked like the Undertaker's entrance at WrestleMania 14. They had all like these like flaming torches create a tunnel out of the bullpen, and the closer came out to no lights, fucking a tunnel of torches, and just blowing fucking fire. And that's how the closer in Japan entered the baseball game. So it's almost like we're just like technology wise, we're behind celebration wise too. Like in Japan.
Bro, have you seen the big boss come in? The manager?
Who's the big boss?
Dude, the big boss?
Who's that?
I can't pronounce his name. He played for the Mets. Tasoshi Sinja. I don't know. He's
Shinjo.
A little bit before my time, but he he dated Paris Hilton. Apparently, he was like a Mets guy. The big boss.
Shinjo.
Yeah, he manages for the Nippon Fighters now, and like his first game managing, his introduction, he comes in on a fucking it's like a snowmobile, but it floats, and he comes in a dark stadium, hovers in the manager of the team in center field with like a jersey that lights up and has his nickname.
You remember Shinjo? He played for the fucking. Like he played for the the Mets, Blue Jays. No,
yeah, the Mets for sure.
The big boss. I don't know, man. All I'm saying is, yes, they do it different over there in Japan, but they've got it figured out. Like they've got it figured out to where there is such a level of respect but there's also fun celebrations. There's passion. Like, you're not talking about, man, pace of the game, ticket sales are down, people aren't tuning in. Baseball is a religion in Japan.
Yes.
And it's not something where feelings are getting hurt if guys are flipping bats to the moon and we've got the Undertaker's WrestleMania entrance for closing. Like, no one is sitting there. If that happened here, stateside, if you had Kenley Jansen coming out of the bullpen to flaming torches and the lights being out, do you know how many old white people would have strokes? Do you know how many?
That's why Jordan Romano's entrance is, I mean, that shit is epic. Epic. If you can get up to the 6 and watch Jordan Romano's entrance into the ball game.
What's it look like?
That shit is dope.
What is it?
That shit is dope. Check it out. Look it up. I'm sure they got video of it. It's sick.
I'm also willing to bet there's some old fucks in Japan who are pissed about these introductions. Like, we don't know. There's probably this is probably a big thing over there.
Japan is
know.
Like the biggest respect your elders country in the world.
You don't think there's people in Japan who hate the big boss for having light up jerseys and coming in on hovercraft? It's definitely a thing.
I don't know. I'm sure, but like they also
they're not all just collectively jumping on board with new shit. Like, that's not like they got people that yell at clouds over there too. They got people who don't want you on their lawn over there too.
I'm sure they do, but I feel like it's like the blowback is not as great as it would be in the United States.
I would love to hear those guys. Like, what are they saying? You know what I mean? Like, what is their gripe? Like you're saying, Joe, like, oh, what the fuck? This guy's coming in on a goddamn hovercraft. Like, this is not what Sadahara O was doing. Like, kidding me? I would lose my shit if Sadahara O came flying out to the plate with on a hovercraft. Like, you mean to tell me this guy's got a light up belt? This shit is not like Nomo would never.
One of my buddies plays baseball in Japan, and he said that when they're sitting down in the clubhouse to have like lunch or dinner or whatever, you can't get up from the table until whoever is older than you gets up first. Like, you have to stay at the table until like you're the elder statesman of the table. It's like a respect thing with like the elders.
Well, yeah, and like how you walk in the clubhouse, no shoes in the clubhouse. You're wearing fucking flip-flops. The showering situation is very interesting.
Aren't the toilets like you gotta like squat and then piss into like a fucking tube or something like that?
Well, the toilet situation, yeah. I mean, they got bidets or whatever, but like to shower, you have like it's just a stool that has a hole, and you sit on the stool, and you got a shower, like a shower hose that you shower yourself with. So you're not standing in the shower.
I heard this. I'm hesitant to say this. It might be completely false. I don't want to say some stupid shit about Japan that's not true. But I heard that the boys, like, you're supposed to like wash each other's backs and shit. Like, that's like normal. I don't know where I read that, but that's if we're talking about the shower etiquette, you're supposed to, teammates, you rub the soap on, you hit the, the respect.
Respect, dude.
Just doing a little cleanup on your cleanup guy.
just watching Dallas's back in the shower, being like, "Yo, mad respect, bro."
Yeah.
7 innings, only 1 earned today. Like, let me get in there.
Oh, buddy, that changeup was something special today.
Yeah.
And that's when I look at you and say, "Well, maybe you ought to rub my balls up before every game."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my hamstrings were really sweaty today. I don't know how much you respect me, but I think if you could check that situation out.
It's going to be interesting to see Bauer, because I was talking to one of my YouTube boys. He's Yaku Cosmopolitan. He has a YouTube channel about Japan, and I was asking him, like, what's the reaction to Trevor Bauer from the Japanese fans? And he was basically saying, like, no one there really knows anything about like the domestic abuse, the court cases, anything. Like, it's not a story. I mean, it's a big deal that he's coming there, but I think the perception is from the public is like, oh, he just is coming to play for Japan because he wants to.
So I'll say this.
Sure, because that happens all the time.
Watched.
Yeah.
So the guy who just signed for fucking $200 million for like 3 years just decided to shit can that and come over to Japan.
None of the news
for
articles
$4 million?
mention how he hasn't fucking pitched in like a year and a half, right?
I mean, you can't be serious though, right? Like you can't. What the fuck?
That's what I was told.
I sat through the entire I watched it. Like, did you watch his press conference?
No, Jared. I was watching fucking paint dry.
I watched the entire thing. It was also like it was kind of like my personal hell because after the press conference, they did an impromptu photo shoot essentially where like they asked him questions for about 40 minutes. And then after that, they had him hold up a baseball and hold it up and just pose like that for like 5 minutes. And then they had him hold up, like, you know how like in soccer, they have the scarves.
Yeah.
Like he like did that and pose like that. And they put the jersey on. It was literally a photo shoot that lasted forever. But I watched the entire press conference and there was not a single question about that. Not one.
Well,
and it was also just, it was a huge room. Like think about like an entire auditorium at a 5-star hotel. That's the size of the space. And there was like 50 people there. So they had like a stage and then they just had like, I don't know, 50 media members, but it was just a gigantic auditorium and you could hear a pin drop when he like was done answering questions. It was just deathly silent. Like it was super uncomfortable. But yeah, they didn't ask about any of that stuff.
Well, and I'm not going to act like, or I'm not going to pretend like I don't know that there's probably some limitations on things that they can ask and things that they can't ask. I'm willing to bet that at some point in time that communication has occurred because I find it almost insulting to a culture that something like that would transpire with a player and they would then find themselves in their country playing their sport, having the, whether you like it or not, star power that comes along with him, and then just having no idea why he's here.
It's hard to believe, but I believe that.
That's fucking North Korea type shit.
It's not even like that. Like it's the same thing with the WBC. When I'm researching the WBC, the most watched baseball game ever was like Japan versus Cuba, 2006 WBC. No one in America knew it happened. All this shit that happened in Japan, that in that tournament with them like planting a flag on the field, Korea, Ichiro raging.
Oh, yeah, Ichiro wanting to fucking kill somebody? Yeah.
Like, no one here ever knew that existed. It has like 100 million views in Japan. It's just like, it's hard to like, information doesn't travel that well between like these continents. It's crazy. But this is the truth. Like the Bauer abuse shit isn't really known there. I'm sure if you Googled it, you could kind of find some stuff, but it's just not like that.
Well, I mean, even then,
that's fine. They've got the next 10 years to learn about his situation as he spends the entire rest of his career over there.
I don't think that's going to.
I don't think we'll ever see him in Major League Baseball again. Feel super confident about that.
I disagree. I think that the first and foremost, I know it sounds bullshit, but I know that he did want to pitch in Japan before all this stuff.
Sure, that's fine. At the end of his career, he didn't want to pitch. He didn't want to pitch in what was supposed to be the back end of his prime.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Like, I don't think that he wanted to do it right now, but I know that he did. I also know that there were a bunch of GMs that were like, yeah, I'd love to be able to bring you on, but try explaining that to ownership. And like it was a lot of like shut down at ownership levels versus like general manager.
I don't think any of those things are going to change though. Those owners are very unlikely to turn over the teams in time for it to matter for Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, but it's the optics of like you went away and came back and whatever. I don't know. Either way, I think it's like a fascinating social experiment to follow from like a baseball perspective, but We'll see. I think because what it is, it's called the Sawamura. That's their Cy Young in Japan.
Yeah.
And no one has ever won the Cy Young and the Sawamura, and Yu Darvish was the only one that kind of came close.
I mean, we know why that is, though, right? Because Cy Young winners don't go to Japan in time to win the Cy. Like, you know what I mean? They're like,
but Sawamura winners come to America.
That's a much more viable path.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're asking, well, like what you're wanting to happen is for the butterfly to go back into the cocoon and then reveal itself again.
Yeah. Yeah.